Bonjour, my name is Sofia Falkovitch. I'm a cantor and a singer, and I live in Paris. I was born in Moscow, in the Soviet Union, at the time where it was a completely different country. It's a country that does not exist anymore, and one of the great things about living in Soviet Union was that education, musical education and access to the arts was free and accessible for all. My father was directing a theater, and naturally, since there was no babysitting, I had to go to all the performances, watch all the theater productions, the ballets, the operas. And this was my first step into wanting to contribute to this magical atmosphere that was happening on stage, and I wanted to communicate with people from the position. So I didn't know if I wanted to be a singer. I thought probably I would be an actress, which was more obvious since the environment was as such. But at a pretty young age, my voice grew, and I discovered that I probably should pursue this path, since it was something that I enjoyed doing very much. We could not exercise religion in Soviet Union, but we had a very strong Jewish identity and Jewish history that was very present, very obvious in our family.
How did the inspiration, the idea of becoming a cantor come about from your interest in acting and singing?
Well, I think my whole life has prepared me for this, and when the possibility was there, the college in Berlin opened up with the cantorial program for the first time, and for women to be able to access this education. And I happened to be there, and I met the director, and she convinced me to apply. I was not ready, but from talking to her and from the perception I had, I considered still to apply. I thought I should wait another year, but her and the committee, they felt that I should not. And maybe it was a good thing, because I don't know, it's very, it's very frightening in a way for a young woman to study or to want to have a career path in this direction, in this world that is dominantly, male, and which has very obvious dilemmas for women even today in 2020 to be able to work in France and in Europe, because the environment is very conservative. It's not like in America where it's kind of obvious today. It's not a problem at all, and we talk about different topics, which I hope will change, and naturally it's shifting in this direction. It will change in Europe too. Well, I feel that I'm a product of my time and of my generation, where we have multiple identities, and where we have the possibility to travel the world and to be able to connect people, to connect cultures and religions. And maybe this direction was not so obvious or possible in the past. Judaism has survived because of its ability to reinvent itself and because of pluralistic voices. And I feel that today, with my generation, I can contribute to this in my time. As a cantor, I was trained to create a space, a safe place for people, a welcoming place to come together, to discover, and through the music to come in contact with sacred texts. In a sacred Hebrew song, the text is in the foreground and the music underlines the text. Whereas in classical music, we have it's the music that is more in the foreground. For me, the spirituality and the arts, they go hand in hand, and they are complementary, because arts is always richer and deeper if there is a spiritual layer, and religion without kavanah, religion without the ambience, is definitely lacking something too. So by combining these two and by being able to connect them is a very interesting work and a very interesting and challenging thing to do. Unfortunately, anti-Semitism is a global phenomenon, and everywhere in the world we are confronted with terrorism. And one of the ways, through music, through the arts, to connect people, to bring people together, to communicate, to meet each other as a person, and to connect on a human level, this can be very nicely done through the arts and through the music and through song. Paris is a very exciting city, and I absolutely love it living here, because I mean it's such a cultural hub and an interreligious platform where cultures and religions meet, and this is very exciting to be living in Paris. There is a lot of work to do, but it's very exciting.
You recently sang in an Orthodox synagogue in Germany. How is that possible when Orthodox synagogues normally wouldn't have a female cantor?
Well, the way it works with Einheitsgemeinden, this is the term in Germany for a synagogue that needs to include everybody, and the tendency is to be more and more Orthodox, because this is how the board thinks that everybody will be welcomed in this space. The way it works is it's a very slow progress, obviously, and it's on a step-by-step, on a trust basis. The first time I usually come with a concert, then with a lecture or a workshop. This was a service for women only. So through discussion, through meetings, we come together and we develop something. Well, obviously they were very excited to have this opportunity to study, to learn something, and to be included, which is natural, to become an active part and to be active in their life. I think this is this is something that with our generation, with our time, we cannot contourner anymore, we cannot go around anymore, because women are taking more and more an active part in the society, and this is just, thanks God, a question of our time that it has become possible. And the reaction I had is that some men who were waiting outside, they actually felt that they wanted very much to be part of it, but they could hear the voice, my voice, outside of the space, and they were upset that they could not join in.
Why are women traditionally not allowed to be cantors?
Well, there is nothing in the halakha that is not allowing women to become a cantor, to be a singer, and to study. This is something that is not a religious problem. This is something that has been culturally designed like this, that women were excluded from being an active part in this sphere. It's a question of sharing, I think, because it's also a question of power, and it's much more easier to say we keep the women in the home sphere, in the private sphere, and in the public sphere we restrict them. But it's obviously not working in a modern society anymore, and it's changing.